guys, what is up? Today I wanted to just take a few minutes and share a recent projection with you guys. So I know I haven't been sharing an awful lot of out-of-body experiences or projections with you lately. I apologize for that. Time has been so limited lately that anytime I do make a video, I've just been trying to put content in it that will be hopefully helpful to somebody else who's trying to achieve these states, these various states of consciousness. So anyways, after my last video, I got multiple requests, like probably upwards of 10 requests to take a break from all of the instructional type videos and just share an experience or two. So that's what I'm going to do today. Maybe I'll do another one next week. But I thought I would go ahead and share the most interesting thing lately. A lot of my experiences are, you get out of body and nothing really amazing happens. It's, you walk through a wall or two or you fly around, but really nothing profound. But this was one that happened about a week ago, and it was one that left me thinking, and those are always my favorite ones to share. So basically, I use the indirect method, which accounts for probably 70% of my successes these days. I've been using the nighttime meditations. I've been using this practice that I shared in my last video where upon awakening, I immediately I remain completely still and immediately turn my attention to the dreams I was just having until the process just kind of builds and takes over and just kind of happens on its own. It's been working really well lately. So that is how I achieved this particular one. And the idea for this, I've mentioned many times, always have a plan of action. You don't want to waste the time you have in these states, because even when you've got experience under your belt, these states, these experiences are always far too short. So have some kind of idea of what you want to do when you go into this. This particular one, my goal was to experience something related to my higher self. And what inspired me to look at this was actually a guy that I'm teaching right now, doing Skype lessons with him. And, I asked him what his end goal was to, be able to achieve these phase states. And he said it was to be able to receive or tap into inspiration from his higher self. And that's something, quite honestly, I just haven't spent much time with. I spent a lot of time flying around. I spent a lot of time having fun. I've had some other profound experiences in the past, but really never spent a lot of time on the whole idea of a higher self or gaining inspiration from that. So, not really knowing how to contact my higher self, I actually went back to something that William Buhlman does. So William Buhlman, he talks a lot in his books about using demands and intense levels of intent basically to manifest things. So he'll say clarity now, or he'll say light now, or he'll say higher self now, which is a big one that he uses. And just these demands manifest themselves in the way that you intend them to manifest themselves when you're in this out-of-body state. So I get out of bed, leave my room, because I just tend to have longer experiences if I get a good 15 or 20 feet away from my body, which is maybe a topic for another video, but it's an interesting phenomenon. I tend to just stay out longer if I get a little bit away. And I get down into my living room, and then I use William Buhlman's his higher self now command. And as I do that, I turn around and I see myself, sort of. It's sort of a interesting representation of myself. Maybe it's what I picture myself to look like, but it's not quite right. And it doesn't feel quite right either. So if you've ever had an experience in a dream, and hopefully you can relate to this, I've had many of these, where you're talking to somebody and this person doesn't look like the person that you know it is. So let's say you feel like you're talking to a good friend, but this person doesn't look like your good friend, but somehow internally you know that that's who this person is. It was that kind of strange type of scenario. So I feel like I'm looking at myself, but initially I feel like I'm talking to my son. And so it's like my son is me. And as I'm talking to him, and I'm trying to get some sort of answers from him, and I'm trying to think of something really profound actually to ask him, I feel like he's changed, and now I'm talking to my daughter, and then I feel like she's changed, and now I'm talking to my wife, and I start to get kind of confused at this point, because I feel like I'm supposed to be talking to this higher self, this profound entity, this higher level of consciousness, and really what I feel like is that I've got this face that I'm looking at that keeps being where the the mind or the consciousness behind this face keeps changing. It changes from my son to my daughter to my wife, and then to my parents, my dad, my mom. And the experience didn't last much longer than that. I actually snapped back to my body before I really ever got any sort of profound answers or profound anything at all, or explanation as to why this was happening. And so it got me to thinking, whether this was a real experience or whether this was just my subconscious mind producing this, what was the purpose of all of these various consciousness entities behind my own face? And so I thought, there's a lot of different ways you could look at it. You could look at it as if we're all connected and there really is no me and there really is no you, and me talking to myself or my higher self is really like me communicating with multiple people at once. Or it could be that these are all of the people that have influenced me and that actually make up who I am, because these are the people that I've been surrounded with my entire life. Because every one of the people that I experienced behind myself was familiar. It was a family member. And so maybe that's what it was getting at, that I'm sort of a compilation, for lack of a better word, of all of these people who have made up various portions of my life. So that's it. One of the more interesting ones that I've had lately. I can always tell you guys about my flying around and my walking through walls experiences, but I figured I would start with this one just because it was a little bit different than what I tend to experience typically. So I'd love to get your thoughts on it. Is this anything profound? Is this just my subconscious just telling me what I already know, that I am a product of everybody that I've grown up with? Anyways, feel free to share your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. As always, like, comment, subscribe, help me build this community. I will talk to you guys again soon.